The 2025 Mazda CX-5 has a new trim level, the Carbon Turbo, which comes in all-wheel drive, which is our test vehicle. We're going to show you some of the new features for 2025. We'll take it for a test drive, and in the end, we'll give you our pros and cons. We'll talk about the competitors and the price. Let's show you what's new with this vehicle for 2025. There are 8 trim levels, which is quite a few on the Mazda CX-5. I would love to see there be less of them because it gets a little bit confusing, but there are 8 exterior colors and 7 interior colors. And what's nice about our test vehicle, it comes with the iActive all-wheel drive, and this is what they call a sport utility. Our test vehicle rides on 19-inch alloy wheels. This is the top trim level, and the black wheels are optional if you don't like black. They do have other colors. If you're looking for the off-road, look at the CX-50. That's going to have more aggressive tires, and that vehicle will be designed for more off-road, and it's slightly different. There is a glass roof on our test vehicle, and it just goes over the front rows, so you won't have that glass over the second row. It's important to note there are roof rails that are available on these vehicles, so if you want to have cargo containers on top, that will also work. Our test vehicle is the carbon black, so you're going to see the black trim all around the top, chrome across the bottom, and there is a 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty. Coming around to the back, there is an upper third brake light, and the wiper blade is here. Again, I would love to see it tucked up underneath, so maybe we'll see that when there is an update to this vehicle. You've got the gigantic Mazda logo here, CX-5 and all-wheel drive, and this is a Skyactiv, and it is the turbo engine. We'll talk about that in just a second. Let's talk about cargo space. Cargo space is 30.8 cubic feet of storage, and underneath this cover is a spare tire, which not all the competitors have. Seats fold down 40-20-40, which is really nice to have that convenience, whether you're just putting something that's long down the middle or you need to have all the seats down, and then you've got plenty of cargo space. Heading into the second row of the CX-5, this seat's a little bit far back, but there is a good amount of legroom. Remember, all your competitors are going to be compact SUVs, and they're all going to have similar issues. Pockets behind each wheels, there is vents, there is no charge ports here in the second row. This armrest of this 40-20-40 seating does fold down. There's 2 cup holders as well as a place for something, and then very little area here. There is a charge port here for USB on this side, so you just run the cords around. Again, if somebody's sitting in the middle, that's a little bit more challenging. These seats do have a slight recline, which is good for the 2 outboard seats, especially if you're putting child safety seats in here. Under the hood of the CX-5 are 2 4-cylinder engine choices. The standard engine is a 187 horsepower 4-cylinder engine, or the upgraded turbocharged engine, which is in our test car, has 256 horsepower, 320 pound-feet of torque. It's backed by a 6-speed shiftable automatic transmission that earns 24 miles to the gallon combined. Premium fuel is recommended, but you can use regular fuel. Towing capacity of 2,000 pounds. You'll have the option of front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. Our all-wheel drive test vehicle, which is the Carbon Turbo, it rides on 19-inch alloy wheels. Inside the CX-5 is a very responsive throttle. You can hit the gas and get instant response, partly because of the turbocharger, but overall this vehicle is really easy to drive. And what's nice is it also comes with a lot of safety features that are standard. This vehicle is a 5-star crash test rated vehicle, which is the top rating from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, known as NHTSA. One of the things that you can buy is you can buy up for additional safety features. I personally like them all packaged. You'll find it that way on some of the competitors. So it depends which safety features are important to you and which ones you could probably live without. Of course, you can turn them on or off. This has lane departure warning, not a fan. On-off technology, not a fan, but overall this vehicle has everything that you would need. This is a great vehicle for families. It's also a great vehicle for someone who's just starting out, going to college. Maybe you need the room to bring your gear and everything with you. It's a perfect first car. Or you could go down to the CX-3, which we've reviewed, as an option if you'd like something smaller. There's a huge race series that is all Mazda MX-5s if you're into the racing side of this, but most people aren't. They want a car that gives them everything they need. So you have real gauges in front of you, except for the center gauge, which is a digital gauge. I prefer actual gauges. And the reason I do is, as these cars get older, maybe you're the second or third owner, or you're going to keep it for a long, long time, having actual gauges versus anything digital will save you from potential headaches down the road. Going further down, you've got all paddle shifters, you've got your stalks, same as usual, wiper blades, turn signals, cruise control on the right side, audio system on the left. pretty simple, pretty basic. This vehicle does have memory seating. This is a leatherette type material. It is not real leather. It may look like it, but it's not. Apple CarPlay, Android Auto is standard. I'm using my phone, which is Apple CarPlay right now. Further down, you've got your vents. In addition to that, of course, start, stop. Everything's pretty basic here. It does everything that you need. So here's the real difference when it comes to the navigation screen. You can use your Apple CarPlay or your Android Auto, and that can be connected. Otherwise, you're down to this dial that's here in the middle that's behind the regular brindle or shifter. And when you turn that, this is what you're getting. Navigation is pretty basic. But if you don't want to use your phone, which is going to have a lot more details, that's certainly something you consider. Going into the music, you have FM, AM, Sirius, Pandora, Bluetooth. You can connect up your phone, whatever you need, or just shut it off. Now, on top of that, you can go to your home screen, and this is where this dial, I think, is dated. Again, and you can't touch screen it, which is what I want to do, which we all want to do that because of our phone. You have to go into the entertainment screen, you have to go into the FM, and if you want to change it, it's stations. It does require quite a few steps to get to what you'd like, which I find to be on the frustrating side. It's kind of dated. I kind of wish they would update the center screen. Now, if you connect your phone, it's all good, but you cannot touch the screen to make it work. You can get Siri, but you cannot swipe to things like you're used to doing on pretty much every other brand. When you shift to the sport mode, the center of the gauge, the only digital portion that is on this vehicle, turns to red, and that will change a lot of the dynamics of this vehicle. Mostly shift points. It's a little bit more power when you need it. Maybe on an on-ramp, maybe to pass, or just to accelerate and have an excited ride. Now, overall, this vehicle is really easy to drive. I've been driving it for a week and just running everyday errands, going to the grocery store, going to the airport to pick someone up. All of these normal things that we do every day makes this vehicle extremely functional and a good value, especially on the entry-level price. When you get up to the higher price points in that $40,000 range, well, it gets kind of pricey. It's important to get what you need. The other option is you can lease these vehicles, and that's something I would not recommend going beyond the warranty, which is 3 years or 36,000 miles on any vehicle. Don't lease longer than the warranty, because if something goes wrong, that's going to be on you. And sometimes it's best just to own the vehicle and get the newest, coolest one, because Mazda's always coming up with new, great product, and they're very reliable vehicles. People that own them love them. I would own a Mota in a minute, or an MX-5. Here we are in sport. Nice. Put that power on, put that pedal to the ground. You can really feel the pickup. And that's what you're going to need when you're in an emergency situation to escape, or if you're on an on-ramp, or whatever that might be. But overall, this vehicle really does perform well. And if you're considering a mid-size to compact SUV, this absolutely should be on your test drive list. Now let's talk about the pros and cons, the price, and the long list of competitors. There are some pros and cons when it comes to the 2025 Mazda CX-5. First thing is, I think this is a well-appointed cabin. There's a lot of nice features, including 2 engine choices, which I think is a really nice thing to have. If you don't want the power, at least you can get the better fuel economy. The ride and the handling are very comfortable and makes this vehicle really easy to drive. On the negative side, well, this is my top negative on the Mazda lineup, is you can't use a touchscreen, even with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. I tried it. I was kind of disappointed because we're all used to touching our fingers on screens and making things function. Mazda believes, from a safety perspective, again, that is up to you, what works for you, that you should use the dial that's on the center console. And again, that's a personal choice. That's why there's lots of options. One of the negatives, I believe there are way too many trim levels. I'd like to see it pared down to 3 or 4. It gets a little bit complicated, maybe 2 with the smaller engine and 2 with the larger engine. But either way, it's one of the things that has always made it confusing for consumers, but there are a lot of competitors to consider. That competition list is quite long. We have reviewed all of them on our channel. I suggest you test drive all of them. Check with your insurance company before you make your final decision, because this is a vehicle you're going to keep for quite a few years. Starting with the Hyundai Tucson, the Honda CR-V, the Kia Sportage, the Ford Bronco Sport, the Mazda CX-50, the Toyota RAV4, the Volkswagen Tiguan, the Nissan Rogue, Chevrolet Equinox, and the Subaru Forester. That is the bulk of the direct competitors. And again, Go out and see what works for you. It's really important. When it comes to the price for the Mazda CX-5, it starts at a very reasonable $29,900, and you can load it up to this vehicle at $43,000. It's a huge gap. Again, there are 8 trim levels, so find what works for you and which engine choice is best for you as well. Now, if you have any additional questions on the Mazda CX-5, put them down in the comments below. If you'd like to support our channel, you can buy me a cup of coffee. That's in the description, as well as all the ways to reach me. If you got value from this video, please like and subscribe, and we'll look forward to seeing you next time. I'm LaurenFix.